rotation for the Bruins, so I hope it plays out the same way, getting deep into the playoffs.
Not to mention, it'll balance out some of those young guys we have, like Dougie Hamilton. It'll make more of a balance of veteran players that have a lot of experience and can teach the younger players, and younger players who have a lot of talent but need more experience.
Exactly. Jaromir Jagr is notorious for being he's great on the power play. This is good for Boston because their power play is atrocious.
Yeah.
I just saw them a few days ago against Ottawa on the power play, and they couldn't do anything.
At least their penalty killing is good.
Yeah.
Bounces out a little
It
bit.
could go either way on that one.
But it would be much better if we
I don't know if they
could.
have a very good penalty kill.
It's the best in the league at 90-something%. 92, 93, 94%.
Numbers are just numbers.
But when
Jack,
numbers speak, they're more
That
than just
number
numbers.
is inarguable.
The
There's
second
some
best power play behind Boston's, coincidentally, is Ottawa's. Want to know what it was going into that game?
60.
Below 90. What was Boston's going into that game? Above 90.
Okay, you make a decent point.
I make many.
Jack. There's some points that are just inarguable, and that's one of them.
I just like to argue.
Yeah,
It's my
makes
style.
it interesting.
Anyway. Back to the topic of power play.
Wait, I thought we were done with power play. Oh, you're still.
We
talking
just
about it.
started.
I thought
I'd like to continue talking about it because it's such an issue here in Boston.
Yeah, it's definitely
I mean,
our worst
it's
part of the game.
It's 15%. Where you have teams like the Flyers that have a power play that's like 21, 22, 23%.
Mm.
That's absolutely stellar. Granted that the Bruins are the best 5-on-5 team in the league. Well,
It would be better. If
one
we
of the
could get-
best.
It would,
When we won the Cup, we were the best 5-on-5 team in the league. And we won a Stanley Cup with a goaltender and no power play.
Oh, we had.
And we have and the same core group that won that cup is back this year.
Well, for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
and even then, the people that are
And
gone
now- and-
were
and-
replaced by young people.
Yeah, and now there's actually potential for a power play that could potentially be very lethal with a guy like Jaromir Jagr.
What line do you think Jagr will go into?
Third.
Third line, really? I was thinking more second line.
Well, the second line that the Bruins have, it was the first line when we won the cup. Horton, Lucic, and Krejci.
Yeah.
That's a great line.
What about the defenseman on that line?
The defenseman, Chara, and
Oh yeah, Chara.
Hamilton.
Are you sure Hamilton?
Hamilton and Chara were a
So
defensive
who's-
pair on
Who's on the second line? It's
Seidenberg and
McQuaid.
Boychuk.
Plays defense.
Well, McQuaid isn't
Well,
here.
Sagan probably plays on the second line.
Sagan, the first line guy.
Oh,
He was on the first
what
line.
about Bergeron?
First line. But he's got a mild concussion now from an elbow to the side of the head he sustained while trying to deflect a puck that was shot by a Senators defenseman from in between the face-off dot and the blue line. He got down a wee bit too low and got elbowed in the head, and now he has a mild concussion.
How long will that last?
It's undisclosed. We don't know.
Well, we can segue concussions into Stephen Drew.
Yes, I like that. Should do that more often. Stephen Drew has been cleared to play. He's returning from a concussion. What does this mean for guys like Jackie Bradley Jr. and
I don't know
Jose
how well
Iglesias?
this-
It doesn't. I don't think it affects Jackie Bradley Jr. It affects Jose Iglesias a ton.
I don't know how
But
that's going to play out. 'cause
it's not gonna affect
Iglesias-
Jackie Bradley
I want Iglesias to get more play time in the MLB before you kind of... Because Drew's
Yeah.
going to be gone, and I can understand, Drew's a really good shortstop, but
He's our best chance.
I want Iglesias somewhere to get more MLB playing
Well, just
time.
think of it this way. Considering how injured Stephen Drew is a lot of the time, I mean,
Is he just
He's-
like his brother, made of glass?
basically. Well, he broke his ankle and it kind of ruined his career for a couple years. and it kind of made him injury prone. Where every time you have a major injury, you're kind of injury prone, and just for some reason, people like that are just attracted to injuries like the concussion.
That's the Tom Brady rule in football. Go
But
on.
anyway, if we have an injury prone guy like that, we need somebody to play shortstop when he's out.
Yeah.
And Jose Iglesias
Yeah.
is that guy. I'm not saying I want Steven Drew injured to
Yeah.
get Iglesias some play time, but we need Iglesias and we need Steven Drew. Because Iglesias, I don't think he can weather out the whole season.
He's not ready yet.
He's not ready
But
yet. He will be ready in, I'm saying, a year or two.
A year, really? I was thinking more around a few months.
No. He's not at the level yet.
Well, you can't really argue that Iglesias is much better defensive shortstop than Drew is.
Drew is a stellar defensive shortstop, but Iglesias is better.
Yeah.
It's just the offense. Drew can provide some power.
Exactly.
When he's not injured, he can provide some average, some on-base percentage, and he can kind of be a leader, a little bit, and he's really good at. He's one of the best double play shortstops. You know.
Well, we haven't really had a true shortstop since.
No ma.
Yeah.
No ma. He was a
So-
class act. Not really. He was a crybaby. But he was good. He was our crybaby. Right there.
They weren't biased.
We're Boston fans, okay? He won a World Series with us.
Okay.
He's our crybaby in our hearts.
Okay. I'm just gonna put this out here right now.
There's a guy out the window and he looks like Conway Twitty.
Kind of does. Anyway,
Like kind of Twitter, you remind me.
I'm just gonna put this out right now. It is no secret that we are Boston fans. We support the Boston teams and New England teams. But we say we're not biased because we don't let that affect our decision making. If, say, the Bruins are having a bad season, I'm not gonna go out and say, "Oh yeah, the Bruins are gonna beat the Pens." You know, I'm gonna pick the Bruins every single game. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Like most Patriots fans.
Basically, and it's like, oh, I predict the Bruins to win the Stanley Cup, even though there's tons of other good teams. Not saying there is right now,
Like the
but-
Blackhawks.
Yeah,
Well, you got your two powerhouse teams out west in Anaheim and Chicago.
I'd like to see them.
And then
In
you
the
got a
Western
bunch of
Conference.
teams in the Eastern Conference. It's a flurry, no pun intended. It's a flurry. It's a
See what you
flurry.
did there.
It's a flurry of good teams in the Eastern Conference that can contend for a Stanley Cup. Boston, Pittsburgh,
Well, especially now that Pittsburgh has
again,
Iginla.
but Crosby's
We don't
Crosby's
talk about
gone. There's a good segue. What does Sidney Crosby's injury mean for the Pens, despite the fact that they now have Jerome McGinley?
that. Nothing. They've done.
nothing.
They've shown they can do better without, almost as good as without him. I mean, it will affect them. Think of Iginla as replacing him for the time being. They still have Malkin and Fleury and everyone else that they still had. The whole team doesn't revolve around him. He had
I
a
know.
concussion, and they still showed they can be.
I
One
feel
of the
like
best
NH
teams
I
still.
feel
There's a reason
But
why.
now with Iginla, they can go above the level of what they had. Right
There-
now.
you know what I just love? Is how everybody says Sidney Crosby's the greatest athlete
No,
in professional sports
that
today.
isn't
That
the
is false.
overstatement of the year.
He does better when Evgeny Malkin is on the ice with him. If he's as good as everybody says he is, should he need Malkin to be there?
Well, we should look at
One could make an argument that he
Plus
does.
minus.
It's better when Malkin's playing. Now, here's what I love: is I despise Sidney Crosby. He's a crybaby, but not right here. Not here. He's a crybaby in here, and on the ice. Evgeny Malkin, his numbers skyrocket when Sidney Crosby's injured.
Yeah.
Even when he's not injured,
He
just
does.
when he doesn't play, Gino's numbers skyrocket.
That is 100% accurate.
Anybody notice that when he won the Hart Trophy,
Was that
Crosby.
2 years ago?
MVP last season, Crosby out with a concussion.
Hmm.
So I think that says something
Yeah,
about
yeah,
those
that
two.
probably.
Well, it's probably because instead of instead of
I'll tell you right now, I think Malkin's a far superior player than
I'm
Sidney
going to have
Crosby.
to agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Sidney Crosby is one of the most. Don't get me wrong. He's
The most
He's
overrated
an
hockey
absolute.
player.
He's an absolute wonder to watch. I love to watch him. But like I freak to him. I love to watch it. I love the way he plays, but I hate him
There's a difference between
because he's such a little baby.
there's a difference between overrated and bad.
He's not bad.
There can be some of the most overrated things are actually really good.
He's not
Sidney
bad.
Crosby is one of them.
Sidney Crosby. Put it this way: Sidney Crosby's not bad. The NHL just overlooks too many other good players.
Exactly.
That's
Speaking of good players and overlooking them,
I love these segues.
Marian Gaborik, star forward for the New York Rangers, has been traded to the Blue Jackets.
Stupid.
What they get.
I think that's all that needs to be said. I think they got
3 players in return for.
3 players, names that I can't remember. I saw them this morning, but I can't remember who
If
they
Carl
are.
was here, he'd remember. If Carl was ever here, then he'd remember.
I swear to you, Carl's not our imaginary friend. He actually exists. He actually exists. He's
He does
just never
exist.
here.
He just always has something going on.
He's probably gonna watch this.
Yeah, I know.
And
No, I'm
you're
kidding.
talking shit about
I
it.
love Carl.
Yeah,
I love
Carl's.
Carl.
Hurt you, Carl.
Make a heart.
Back to sports.
This doesn't feel like much of a sports show now that you just did that. Well, maybe in Pittsburgh and Sidney Crosby's winter, but it was. The Rangers have acquired Ryan Clough from San Jose.
No, it's not bad. I don't know
What'd they
anything about
get?
Ryan Clough, but
You can't just judge a trade before you know what they got.
Well,
what they
yeah.
get.
Well, put it this way: would you rather acquire Ryan Clough or get rid of Marian Gaborik? Who would you rather have on your team, Gaborik or Clough?
it depends who's younger for me.
I'm
There's got
almost
more years
positive
left.
Marian Gaborik's younger.
Look it up.
And he's Czechoslovakian. Name me a bad Czechoslovakian hockey player.
Not crazy.
Gaborik, Krejci, Chara.
Is he Chara Czechoslovakian?
He's from that area.
Well, I could have sworn he was somewhere. He's from the area somewhere. I don't think he's from Czechoslovakia.
No, he's from Czechoslovakia.
I think he is Czech.
He's from a really small village in
Oh,
Czechoslovakia.
okay.
All 3 Stastny brothers from way back when, after World War II.
Not familiar with those people.
There was Peter Stastny. I know these 2 guys' names.
You have a computer right in front of you.
Yeah. Who would you rather have on your team? Ryan Clough or Marian Gaborik?
Probably Gabbert.
I don't know a lot about Ryan Close. So I'm gonna have to
Oh no, Clough's younger by 1 year.
Then it's not really a difference. If it's
Yeah.
1 year, I don't see a difference between them.
I don't know. I need to look at the stats because I know Gaborik's been a constant performer, but I don't think.
All right. Well, one's a right wing and one's a left wing.
Okay, well that doesn't make much of a difference. Wings are virtually the same.
Basically.
I could agree with that in a sense. All right, we'll put it this way: Marcy's a left winger and Sagan's a right winger. Are they different? Yes. I love Sagan, but I think he's a puck hog sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like he tries to weave and wiggle and dangle through the defenseman.
He definitely makes some stupid plays.
I think he's one of Boston's favorite hockey players, but you
He
know,
is, and it's all because of the rookie
He
season
is,
he had
it's-
here.
it's hard to believe that his rookie season
His
was
first
just
season, he won the Stanley Cup.
wait, but how long are we?
3 years now in the league.
3 years.
This season, last season, and the season we won
Wow,
the
it's
cup.
been so long.
3 goals in 2 games against a talent-laden Tampa Bay team.
I like how you used it. I like how you use the word lazy.
I do too.
That was awkward. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's okay. I like how you like the word fidget. Roberto Luongo is not going to be traded
Why
to
would I?
Toronto.
That's a stupid move if they were even considering trading him. One of the best goaltenders in the league.
He either does really good
Or he chokes like
or he
in Stanley Cup.
sucks. At home, Game 7, Stanley Cup. Not only should you not be shut out, but you shouldn't give up 4 goals. You shouldn't give up 8 goals in your first game on the road to the Stanley Cup. Last season, the one game Vancouver played in Boston is the one game that Boston and Vancouver actually played at all last season. Vancouver started Corey Schneider, and they won 4-2. Do you wonder what the crowd was chanting?
Luongo.
We want Lou. And Jack Edwards said numerous times, "Oh, it was a house of horror." I don't care if it's a house of horror.
That's what sports is.
I would rather.
They won the President's Trophy 2 years in a row, backed by a goalie that was supposed to be tremendous. He has great regular seasons, but when he gets in the playoffs, he's awful. They won 1 game against 7th seeded in the West, LA Kings, last season in the Western Conference quarterfinals. You can't lose those games. You can't build such a reputation for yourself and then do the complete opposite.
There's something to be said for helping getting your team to the postseason, but you want somebody who's consistent.
He effectively took his team out of the postseason.
Basically, you want
because
somebody
of his horrible performance.
I would rather have somebody who's like pretty good in the regular season and the postseason than somebody who's amazing in the regular season and absolutely horrible in the postseason.
That's a good point.
Especially if it's a key position like goaltender.
It's the most team-dependent position in all of hockey.
Exactly. I don't want Luongo in my goal if I'm in the postseason.
I don't blame you. I want a guy like Brodeur or Lundqvist.
Roa.
Who?
Roa.
Oh, Wah.
Patrick Roy.
Wah.
Roy.
Yeah, I know, but you pronounced it Wah. It's French.
Roy.
Patrick Wah. He constantly wah'd me. Next,
You didn't segue.
I don't need a segue going from Luongo. That is a waste of a segue.
It's a segue.
An absolute waste. Well, speaking of crappy, speaking of crap, an absolute waste, which is what San Francisco's secondary looked like in the Super Bowl last season. The 49ers have signed quarterback. Okay, give me a second to try to enunciate this correctly.
Namdi Asamoah.
What he said.
Seems about right.
Namdi Asamoah.
Awesome. It's like awesome wah.
Yeah, awesome Wah. Patrick Wah was awesome. Awesome Wah. They signed him to a 1-year deal. What does this mean for San Francisco's secondary?
They didn't pay a lot of money for it, so I think it's a good move for them. He was great in Oakland, but he was subpar in Philly. So yeah, and only paying like $1 million for a 1-year contract. That's pretty good for
It's all about
quarterback
depth.
of his.
It's all about that.
And their secondary
They have a lot of it.
That is
but
what
they don't know
wins
how to use it.
championships.
They had depth last year in their secondary.
Exactly, but
yeah, but they didn't do it in the playoffs. I mean,
Super
not
Bowl.
playoffs, Super Bowl, yeah.
Which one of the Smiths is out right now? Alden Smith? One of the Smiths I know is
I don't
having
think it was Alden Smith.
shoulder surgery.
Actually, that makes sense.
if I'm not
So
mistaken,
it
didn't one
must
of
have
them
been
get
Alden
traded?
Smith.
Alden Smith.
Yes, Alden Smith is currently recovering from a shoulder surgery.
Sorry if we got that wrong, by the way.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't one of them get traded like a month or two ago?
Nope. They've kept one's a linebacker, DE hybrid, and one's just a defensive tackle.
I'm thinking somebody else then.
Alex Smith. You're thinking Alex Smith, who got traded to Kansas City.
And continuing on with depth and being bad, the Arizona Cardinals have signed quarterbacks Brian Hoyer
Oh, he was a backup for Brady a few years ago.
and Carson Palmer.
Who do you think you go with in this
I want to
situation?
burst out laughing right now. I'd go with Carson Palmer.
Yeah. Well, they didn't. I think he traded with the Raiders, actually.
I'd still go with Carson Palmer.
Yeah. That makes what I said made no difference to the
To the question.
question at all.
To the question you asked, mind you. Who would you start? Hoyer or Palmer?
Palmer, basically.
I mean, there's really no argument
Yeah,
here,
there's no.
since Hoyer was a backup.
Yeah. And
Has he
Palmer.
ever been a starting
No.
QB?
He came right out of
He
Michigan
was.
State and didn't play.
You know who I absolutely love to hate?
Terrell Owens.
Ryan Mallett. I'll get to him in a second. Speaking of suckhouses. Ryan Mallett.
He's decent. He's not a good guy.
He's got a gun.
He can throw it like
It's like
60 yards down the field.
It's like Brett Favre, Phillip Rivers, and friggin' Joe Flacco, without being slow. But he's more inaccurate than a blind man with a 50 caliber machine gun trying to hit a pin a mile away.
That's a pretty good analogy.
That's actually.
They're either in the crowd, on the dirt, or going into friggin' space.
Man, I'm just gonna say that's analogy of the week right there.
Thank you. Thank you. We should start an award for that. Analogy of the week.
Thanks. Oh, then we don't be trying to make the best analogy.
Nah, people, we be trying too hard.
Alright,
Anyway,
let's keep going. Yeah.
Okay. Continuing with the theme of suck houses and people I love to hate. Terrell Owens and Tom Brady held workouts together at USC.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't either. What does this mean for the Patriots? The Patriots don't put up with people's crap. And it's Terrell Owens.
Chad Ocho Stinko.
You have but Belichick loved him, Ocho Stinko. You have fire in Terrell Owens, and
That's my cool.
that's my quarterback. You have fire in Terrell Owens and dry ice in New England. Not even regular ice, dry ice.
You're saying they're cold, like
They're a very cold
Somebody?
organization. No, not that they need someone. They're a cold organization. They refuse to pay people,
okay.
and they don't. They will not tolerate a player's crap.
Which is why they brought Randy Moss in. He turned into having one of the best wide receiver seasons of all time.
Yeah, and then he talked himself out of town. Logan Mankins
That's
almost
his
did the
fault.
same thing because he was holding
He's
out.
gonna get it coming to him.
Honestly, I think that's the way to run a business. Don't take anybody's crap.
Well, can I?
It's definitely the way to run a business,
I'm
especially in a
paying you
league like
millions of
this.
dollars to play a game.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take your crap.
Did
It's like Daisuke. He would get
oh my god! Don't
his
even talk about
contract
it.
in Boston. If you do the math, down to the very last place, he was getting paid $5,000 a pitch.
Jesus.
We paid like $100 million just to talk to
We
him.
paid $100 million just to talk to him. He gets paid $5,000 a pitch, and it's an absolute bust.
Well, he was decent his first year, but
He was pretty damn good his first year.
yeah,
But then after that, he just fell apart.
and he's with the Indians now.
Nope, he got dropped.
What?
After his first season, he went down faster and harder than Captain Sully did in the Hudson.
Another great analogy.
So
We're on a
two
roll
of
today.
those back. I'm on a roll today.
Did we ever? I have a question. Did we ever sign? Which is it? Volmer or Solder? Did we sign?
We re-signed Bowler.
All right, so our offensive line is good. He's good.
Well, Solder needs to stay healthy.
Well, he's not any contract issues, is what
I'm saying that he needs to stay healthy.
I'm saying. Okay.
He bruises like a banana.
He's huge though. He's from Colorado. He's like 6'4". Like
Yeah, Gronkowski's huge too, and he's a moron.
I thought I was wearing my Gronkowski shirt. I wore it yesterday.
Speaking of bruises and morons, the Astros have set the all-time
Oh my
record for
God.
strikeouts.
That was the best.
It was like 40 something in one series. Oh my. That was one of the hardest series to watch ever.
Why would you watch
If you're an
that?
Astros
Why?
fan.
Those exist.
They're gonna get
Honestly?
blanked out.
Honestly, let me just put this out here.
You know what? They are honestly so bad that I kind of hope that they do.
I don't wish that on any team.
They're
Either that or relocate.
good
Because
at
there's-
running a business though.
Texas is big enough for one team,
And that'd be the Rangers.
and they're not going to tolerate Houston playing the way they do.
Well,
Everything is bigger in Texas, including baseball records and home run numbers.
in a few years,
Houston's not helping that.
Houston's gonna be one of the best teams in the entire MLB based on their prospects right now.
I want you to keep this video.
Right.
And
On record right now, 4 years from now, Houston will be one of the best teams in the entire MLB.
That's a
Wow.
That's an exact year
That's a
number.
pretty bold statement.
That is a very.
Anyway, back to the original
Would you
topic.
like to go into business together?
Back to the original topic. They set the record for striking out the most in a single series, 3-game series. How do you even do that? Out of all of the years that MLB has been around, and you do it in your opening series.
I don't know. I don't know what I find funnier: the fact that they set that record, or the fact that they actually won a game.
I
You said on Monday you're like, I'm not used to having the Astros be leading in a category.
don't know.
I'm not used to seeing a bigger number in the W column than a number in the loss column.
That changed fast.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, they got one game left, I think.
no,
they're
that's
done.
entire 3 games. Another thing that amazes me about this, it's not the Rangers. They have an okay pitching staff, starting rotation. They have Yu Darvish, Matt Harrison,
Derek Holland.
Derek Holland. After that, and Alexei Ogando. Those are pretty good pitchers. Not elite. They're not gonna ring up all the strikeouts.
Can I just say something?
What?
I feel extremely bad for you, Darvish, after going 8 2/3 innings with a perfect game and then giving up a hit.
To the number 9 hitter in the Astros lineup.
That's the only time you're ever gonna hear Marwin Gonzalez's name.
I didn't know his name until you said it right now.
I didn't know he existed.
Any other team, he's in AAA. The Astros, he's batting 9th.
Well, that's what happens when you have a team with a payroll that's lower than the highest paid bench player in baseball.
Oh.
Aroyd.
They have like what, 20 million
Why don't
payroll
they keep
right
paying
now?
him? He's not worth it.
He's got 26
Jack.
million, and the payroll for Houston is some 24-odd million dollars.
Jack, what do you
Like
mean? Why do they keep
240.
paying him? He has a 10-year contract that he has to work out.
And no one wants him.
Dump it into free agency.
Yeah.
That's why the Yankees are hoping this whole clinic thing means he gets suspended, because then they have a good reason to drop him. Because they're trying to find every reason to drop him, because he's the highest paid bench player in the entire MLB.
You know what my reason would be?
What?
I don't like you. Get out.
No, they're not allowed. They can't
It's
drop
something
him.
in his contract. I think.
They can't drop him
It's a
unless
clause.
something like him getting suspended.
No, I know.
But that means Ryan Braun will get suspended and my fantasy team will be down.
Let me just put it on. I'm saying this a lot, but I hope Ryan Braun gets suspended. He's the only player to ever get caught failing a drug test and get away with it. What kind of lawyers? What kind of lawyers do you have to have? Like seriously.
Then Jay-Z is a lawyer.
There you go. There's a segue. Robinson Cano has hired, drum roll please, Jay-Z as his new agent
But that's not his.
after firing Scott Boras.
Yo, dog. My client wants 10 years, $30 million per. You know what I'm saying?
That was
That'd
great.
be the highest paid.
I saw that in a comment. I stole that from random internet user number 50.
See, it's not plagiarism. He cited.
I think citing verbally is much easier than citing.
Well, there's proof right there. So
Yeah. There's not really much to talk about here.
You've taught us well, Miss Collins.
Well, let's.
Besides the fact that he's a complete and total moron.
The fact that he just.
You don't fire a guy that is an agent, that's his actual job, and then hire a guy like Jay-Z.
You don't fire Scott Boras, who.
Where his profession is saying a lot of words really fast and talking about horribly profane things.
You don't fire Boris, who is well known for getting top dollar for his clients. You don't just fire him out of nowhere just because you heard that Jay-Z wants to become an agent and you're like, I like Jay-Z.
Sure, why not?
I'm gonna suffer millions of dollars because I want to meet Jay-Z. I want to have him as my agent. I hope for Robinson Cano's sake that this actually pays out for him.
I remember when
don't.
Robinson Cano used to be a decent second baseman.
What do you mean?
In 2004, he was decent. He wasn't the player he's now.
Oh, I thought you were saying he was bad now.
I'm not.
Do you remember?
He's amazing right now.
I don't know if you, the viewers, remember, and I don't know if you guys remember. I don't even know if I remember this correctly. But you and I, while we were recording a review video, Dan was here. I don't know if you remember, but we were talking about the Red Sox winning 4 games in a row to get to the World Series over the Yankees. You remember that?
No.
Oh.
I don't remember that.
Damn. You're not helping me here. Anyway.
I think you might. I think we must have talked about that in like chemistry or something. Cause
No, I know that we talked about it here. I know that we did talk about it. Whether or not it was here, I know that we did recently. And Jack said that it's probably the greatest comeback in the history of sports.
it is.
Ever,
It is.
bar none.
Oh,
It
no.
happened in hockey.
I remember it.
It happened in hockey. It
But-
happened to the Bruins.
but what I said-
they went up 3 games to none on the Flyers, and then they won,
What I said was
and then went to the Stanley Cup and
everyone
lost.
says when Dave Roberts stole that base and it was the turning point. No, it was
David
Ortiz's
Ortiz
walk off home run. That's what I said.
Yeah.
In Game 4.
You said that was the greatest comeback in sports history, and that it would never be replicated.
Well,
It did.
Well, it was replicated, but you just said the Bruins lost the Stanley Cup. So and then the Red Sox won the World Series.
And was it against, a team that has been dominant for decades?
Philadelphia.
Was
Yes.
that in the 70s?
It was in 2009.
Okay.
It used to be known as the Broad.
One. Okay, back to what we were talking about. Sorry we had to edit that out.
The Flyers were a team that was worthy of winning that series. Because way back when hockey was still hockey,
And when Bobby Hill was playing.
and when Bobby Hill was playing, and the Bruins were actually big and bad.
Yeah, it was the big bad Bruins versus the
Yeah,
Broad
they're not the big bad Bruins anymore.
Not anymore. By no means.
Maybe last season in November and December they were. Kinda. When they were averaging 6 goals a game.
Oh god.
And I went to one of those games. I'm not surprised that they scored 6 goals because they played the Islanders. But that's not the point. A comeback of those proportions did happen. And you said that it had never been or never will be replicated again. And it happened 5 years later. So
Well, if Jack did say that, he was pretty stupid because there's no way that's never gonna happen again.
but the
it
chances
had never
of
happened before.
the chances of them
I'm saying it's
winning
like-
are just as slim as the chances of
T.O. signing with the Patriots.
they signed Ochocinco a couple of seasons ago, and it was just because Belichick liked him, and he liked Belichick.
Well, Belichick's made mistakes in the past, and that was one of them.
Yeah, I literally saw him. Everybody does that. He just got caught. Every
We lost a
team,
kick because of it.
every single team commits something along the lines of Spygate. Want to know what the difference is between the Pats and all those other teams? You got caught. So,
It's like using steroids. You get caught.
Barry Bonds,
Don't say Ryan.
Ryan Braun.
Ryan Braun.
Alex Rodriguez, that's going out to our friend Erica and Sean.
Okay, Sean.
Neither of them.
Let that be a message to all you Jets fans with your butt fumbling quarterback.
Can you just refer to him as the butt fumbler?
We all know who it is.
I know, but
Mark Butt Fumble. Back to baseball and butt fumbling.
okay, good. And butt fumbler.
What's the topic now?
There's been four major recent contract extensions
In baseball.
in baseball. One to Justin Verlander, worth 5 years and $180 million.
He's the highest paid pitcher in history now.
That's $28 million a year.
I
About
don't know. You're the human calculator.
It is $28 million a year.
Of course it
Because
is.
Peyton Manning's is 5 years for $90 million, and that's 14 a year. Do the math for me.
I think
No.
it's- I think it's 24. No, it's not 24. It's somewhere in between.
well, anyway,
17.
He's now the highest paid pitcher in history, beating Felix Hernandez.
Where's the damn equal sign?
You just
calculator?
EXE at the bottom.
It's $22.5 million per year that Peyton Manning is making.
I didn't think it would be a half.
This calculator, it's so confusing
EXE,
You're supposed to help.
and calculating.
an executable file.
God.
No, damn it! I did 90 divided by 4.
Alright.
Okay, while this is
It's
all
18 million a year.
Oh, it's so close.
It's 18 million a year. So that makes Justin Verlander's contract extension worth $36 million a year. That is absolutely stellar.
Then there's Buster Posey.
Pedro Martinez didn't get those figures, did he?
That was because that was 10
Because he's
years
one of the
ago.
most underrated pitchers in history.
Pedro Martinez?
Yeah.
No, he celebrated. He's well celebrated. He gets
By
all the
Red Sox
celebration that
fans.
No.
He's only celebrated in Boston.
He's not a household name anywhere else.
Yes,
Besides
really?
Boston.
Really? Because
He is in New York.
I hear people.
Well,
I hear people
all
mention him all the time in like
And not
in
just
like
with
online
the Yankees.
message boards. Anyway, then there was Buster Posey.
9 years.
167 million.
that's great for the Giants and him.
No, that's not great for the Giants
Why not?
because he's a catcher.
So
They have.
they put him on first
You
base.
You can't.
He's moving to first
You
base.
can't sign a catcher for that long. I'm sorry. I don't care how good he is. I don't care if he's Yogi Berra.
Speaking of catchers,
Would you sign Mike Trout for 9 years?
Yes, but he's not a catcher.
What if he was a catcher?
then you wouldn't sign him for 9 years.
I would sign him for 5 years.
Maybe 9 years at 100 million, not 167.
I'm wearing a Mike Trout jersey.
Anyway, then there was.
I just want to do something here real quick. Should catchers be in the Hall of Fame?
I never said they wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
Let me finish.
We're not arguing with you.
Should the catchers be in the Hall of Fame? I just realized my button's up. That's very risque. Should catchers be inducted into the Hall of Fame on the grounds that they are only inducted based on their offensive numbers when catchers are more defensive player than any other player on that baseball field?
I think outfielders should be the most offensive.
Are you kidding me? Do you know anything about baseball?
Well, just because.
Mike Trout's not going to come running in from center field if John Lackey was still out in LA and he throws a wild pitch. It's called a wild pitch.
Yeah,
It's
but
a
there's-
wild pitch, not a wild catch. Just by the way, we had this debate yesterday morning.
Anyway, okay. My opinion. Yes, they are the most defensive.
Can we just say
position.
that we're arguing the same thing, but we have different views on why?
Okay.
Dan and I are
I
on the
say-
same page, and we think that catchers should be inducted into the Hall of Fame not only based on their offensive numbers, but by their defensive numbers, which we do think there should be a statistic for now.
But there isn't. That's
There are
what I'm-
there
that's
are
what I'm saying.
statistics.
But there
They're
should be.
overlooked. Yeah,
The
There
same
are-
principle applies to football. The
There-
Patriots shouldn't have signed out Joe Stinko, but they did.
Wait, there are statistics for this. It's just
Those get overlooked
there's
by
some
the
overlooked.
the
offensive
Writers
numbers.
the Writers
that's exactly what I'm
Association.
saying.
The right,
And what we're saying is they shouldn't be overlooked because catchers aren't entirely an offensive-minded player. Look at Veritek. Look at Veritek.
no player is an offensive minded character player except for
A
DH.
designated hitter. Now, or a pinch hitter or a pinch runner,
I don't know.
technically speaking.
Nobody's position is that.
Yeah.
But
Except
when
maybe
they
Pedro
do get put
Siriaco.
in as a pinch hitter or
Exactly.
pinch runner, then they're offensive-minded.
Back to the argument.
Now, what do people remember Jason Veritek for?
It's pretty.
He's pretty.
And being the captain of the Red Sox.
Being the captain of the Red Sox.
Great clubhouse guy, best defensive catcher
Apart from Josh Beckett, who
in MLB history, in my
fried
opinion.
chicken and beer and fun times.
He's not the only one.
I think he got blown out by the Giants. Actually, was it the Giants that played the Dodgers?
What?
in this first series.
Last night?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it was because Bumgarner was playing my fantasy.
Natty.
Matt
Can we
Kemp
just
hasn't done
stop getting
anything.
off topic here?
Can I just say that Matt
All right,
Kemp
all right, all right,
is
all right.
stop.
Ladies, please.
What was the topic?
Anyway,
I don't remember.
Wait.
Vadertech is the best defensive catcher in the entire MLB history.
What did he do better than any other catcher in the history of any baseball league, whether it be here, Europe, Asia, any other
In
continent?
this generation,
Calling games.
you can't say he's.
He was not only good at calling games, he was the best at defending home plate when there was a really deep ball
He's
hit.
the best defensive catcher of this generation. I'm sure there are plenty more catchers in history that were better defensively than him that we haven't seen.
The game has progressed so much since guys like Carlton Fisk and.
Well, there's Fisk, there's Berra, there's Kevin
But the
Kelly,
game has
there's
progressed so much from guys like Fisk and Barra.
Johnny Bench.
Why do you think
there's
nobody's hit a 400 average ever since the
Ted
40s?
Williams?
Why do you think that is? Because the game's progressed that much.
Because they've raised the mound, they've lowered other stuff. I don't know what they've done. They made the fields larger, smaller.
They actually lowered the mound. Anyway,
Well, they made the mound higher in '67 when Yaz hit the 400. I think he was the last one.
Yaz?
Or, no, he hit the Triple Crown that year. He was the last Triple Crown besides McGee
Yeah.
last year.
67.
And that
The
year,
dream team.
the '67 year was the best year for pitchers in history. They called it the year of the pitcher, which is why they lowered the mound. And he hit a Triple Crown that year.
We're in another age of the pitcher, by the way. These are the lowest offensive numbers
Really?
across
Are
the
we in,
MLB.
like, I didn't know that. That's kudos to you.
Well,
Look at the
I
pitchers
see it
there
brought
are.
up a lot.
Look at the pitchers we have now in this league.
Kershaw, Price,
Kershaw, Verlander, Price, Gonzalez, Gio Gonzalez,
don't dare say already.
All right, did you-
Strasburg, Dickey. That's 6 right
Jared
there, right off
Weaver,
the top of my
John
head.
Lester.
Weaver.
I don't know.
Lester's
Scherzer.
good. Lester
he's
is
great,
good.
but he's not a Verlander.
He's not.
He's not what he used to be.
How many years has he been in the league?
Like 7
Don't tell me he's not what he used to be. He had one bad season. One.
last year.
Yeah, and that was last year.
And
Everybody on that Red Sox
Alright,
team
that
had bad
wasn't
year last year.
entirely fair. Everyone on that team was not didn't play.
So your argument about John Lester is might as well just be thrown away.
Yeah. don't remember I said it.
I'm going to throw it away.
Let's get back to extensions,
And then-
which we
and
got
then-
off of like 10 minutes ago.
And then once I throw it away, I'm going to
Well,
burn
no
the
one cares
trash
about
about
Paul Goldschmidt's except Paul.
5 years, $32 million for Paul Goldschmidt.
He's gonna be one of the best first basemen in the entire MLB within those 5 years. He's already top 10 first baseman right
I
now.
think the best first baseman is right now.
Best first baseman right now is Joey Votto.
And then who?
Paul Gold. Okay,
Cabrera.
my top 3. Prince Fielder is 3rd. Albert Pujols is 2nd. Joey Votto is 1st.
I don't
You're
know
not going to
about
throw
that.
Encarnacion in the place of Pujols?
What?
You're
I
not
thought
gonna
you
put
had that guy
Encarnacion in the
originally.
place of
Encarnacion
Pujols?
is my 4th favorite.
So
First
list your
baseman?
top 5, counting down from 5.
Not your favorite in terms of performance and how they
Yeah.
do.
Okay, in terms of performance right now,
Because I'm going to tell you right now, being a hockey and football guy for this sports crew, I don't care what your argument is. There is absolutely no way that you were going to sit there and tell me that you would put Albert Pujols in front of Edward Encarnacion.
Edwin.
let's see.
Edwin.
Edwin Encarnacion had 140 home run season. Albert Pujols,
Look at all
Multiple
the
40
look at all the
home
40
runs.
home run seasons that Kevin Youkilis didn't have, and look at how great of a first baseman he's turned out to be.
He is probably one of the best defensive first basemen
let me finish.
of this generation.
Look at how many RBIs Pujols drives in, how many home runs he gets, how great defensively he is, how
Think
much
of
of
it-
a leader he
Because
is.
Think
it's how
about-
good the Cardinals were. I mean, the Angels are. If he hits behind like
He hits behind guys that you know are going to drive in runs and get
yeah,
on base.
because if Mike Trout's like almost most of the time he's going to be on base, which is why he gets the
But
most RBI.
Look at his numbers from last year. That's a bad season for him.
What was his number? Did he still have 100 RBIs?
He still had
How old
100
is Albert
RBIs.
Pujols now?
What?
How old is
He's
Albert
like
Pujols now?
33 now.
He's lower. He's early 30s. But anyway, he's
He's
been
on these.
so consistently good for so long, and you're gonna tell me that Edwin Encarnacion is better because he had one
And he's got
really
and,
good
and,
season?
and,
He's younger than him too,
and
By a couple
Edwin
of years.
but he's
Encarnacion
got more years.
has at least 3 years on Pujols.
What?
Who's been struggling?
Yeah, but Encarnacion wasn't as good as he is right now. For as long.
Well,
Last year was a breakout year for him.
I'm telling you right now, in 2 or 3 years, Encarnacion will stack up with Pujols from now.
What you're basically saying is
No doubt in my mind.
you're discounting Encarnacion's 40 home run season, which is like discounting Batista's home
50
run season
home
a
run
few
season.
years ago. Because
Yeah, but look at how many 40 home run season Pujols has.
But you're discounting.
Well, look at
someone
how
like
many
Batista.
Kevin Youkilis hasn't had.
Exactly.
Has he ever had a 40 home run season?
No.
Let me just
the
put it
most
this way.
likely.
But look at how great of a player he is.
Pujols?
He stands out on the field. He stands out off the field. He stands out as a leader. And
Off
he off the field, in the clubhouse, as a leader, in the dugout. And look at how much passion he puts into the way he
But
plays.
wait, you keep on
He
bringing
did.
up the 40 home run season, and then when I say, look how many 40 home run season Pujols has, you go, Euclid.
Because he hasn't had 40 home run seasons, and in my mind, he's just as good as Albert.
Then why do you keep on bringing up Encarnacion's 40 home runs?
Because you're taking it away from him, the fact that he only had one.
Okay, but Pujols has been consistently good across those seasons.
And who's better defensively?
Pujols.
Give it 2 or 3 years, I'm telling you right now.
His
Pujols?
knees are gonna go.
Edwin Encarnacion's going to be like Bobby Orr's bad knees.
Oh,
And then
no.
look at Pujols.
Encarnacion will be in 2 years what Albert Pujols is now.
Pujols has every offensive category except for speed going for him. He is a threat for the Triple Crown every year because he has high averages over 300. He drives in well over 100 RBIs.
And then there's
40
guys like
home
Mickey
runs.
and Mike Trout, who was just so happens to be on the same team as Albert.
A bad season for Pujols is 36 home
That's a 4 home run differential now.
runs.
I say
Exactly.
a bad season for him would be like 20 home runs.
But he hasn't had one of those yet.
We never finished it. We never even talked about Paul Goldschmidt.
Anyway, Gold. My top 5.
We went 1, 2, 4 in terms of contract extensions. We didn't even talk about Elvis Andrews.
Elvis
He's
Andrews.
getting 8 years for $120 million.
Who's on my
That
team?
is way too much of an overpay. I do not like that contract
I
in
don't
the
agree
least
with that
because
either.
you have Kinsler at second, and then Andrews at short. That's a good pair. But then you bring into the account that the Rangers have the number 1 prospect rated by multiple different sites, in
Who's that?
Jerks and Profar, who can play second base and shortstop only.
Huh?
And you have a second baseman and a shortstop locked down long term. Where the hell is Profar gonna go?
Well, I can see where you're coming from. You're saying like
And Andrews is a one-dimensional player. Well,
he's-
two-dimensional player.
he's not bad. You're saying is that he was overpaid. Both of them were overpaid.
I'm not saying Kinsler was overpaid. I'm saying Andrews was overpaid.
Was it for too long? Are you saying like the?
It's not the length that's bothering me. Well, yeah, that bothers me too, but
By the time this extension is up, he'll be 33.
Oh God, how old is he right now?
24.
Oh
But anyway,
man,
He turns 25 this year.
that's a lot.
where the hell is Profar gonna go? Because the Rangers said they don't want to trade him.
No, why would you trade the number 1 prospect?
Kinsler is at second, 5 more years. Andrews is at shortstop, 8
Like,
more
8
years.
Yeah.
And he's getting paid $100 million for fielding and speed. He doesn't have great averages. He hits like 3 home runs a year. Where is the sense in this?
It's non-existent.
I mean, you have the number 1 prospect rated by multiple sites just sitting in the minors doing nothing. You could at least trade him to get a huge boost out of it. At least trade Kinsler Andrews. But seeing how they just gave them extensions, I don't think that's happening. Okay, there's
Alright.
one more thing I want to
Oh,
mention.
Oh boy.
Kind of an extension of the extensions topic. Are we nearing the end? Are we nearing the end of top players reaching free agency?
Yes.
Are we reaching the end of that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you've got. It seems like every team wants to extend all their players long term.
It's
Instead
starting.
of letting
It's starting in base. It's starting in hockey and it's ending in baseball.
And then the last couple years have been some of the worst free agent years, like some of the worst free agent pools in history. I think when I first heard it, I thought that sounds crazy, but I think that some of these big name guys like Hamilton is being locked up for the rest of his career, or at least most of the rest of his career. Pujols has like 9 more years left of his contract. You have all of these guys that aren't even gonna hit free agency unless they really have a problem with their team, because well, except for those low market teams that have guys like David Price that can't afford him.
And then there's teams like that that are, the Houston Astros. Alright, well, I think it's safe to say that that's enough for this week.
It's been like 3 hour-long episodes in a row.
3 hour-long or so episodes in a row.
55 minutes.
It's great. Dan and I are tied for the most consecutive appearances on that show. I'm waiting for Dan to catch the flu or something.
The flu season's over.
It'll be like Middleworth will fight through a 102-degree fever.